A man sits in a cafe in Dubai, Thursday morning. The air conditioning hums. He orders his usual, black coffee, no sugar. The waiter knows him by now. Same table every week, same time, same order. The man opens his laptop and begins typing. Business emails, nothing unusual. What he doesn't know is that 3 tables away, a woman in sunglasses has already photographed his cup. The coffee hasn't even arrived yet, but the operation is already in motion. The man's name is Mahmoud Al-Mabhouh. He's responsible for the deaths of 15 people, and in 72 hours, his heart will stop. This isn't a story about justice, not really. This is a story about patience, about watching, about waiting for the exact right moment to turn someone's daily routine into their last mistake. Al-Mabhouh thinks he's careful. He changes hotels. He uses different names. He carries multiple passports. What he can't see is that none of it matters anymore. His coffee ritual has already betrayed him. Let's go back 4 months. November, a villa outside Tel Aviv. No signs on the building, no flags. Inside, 8 people sit around a conference table studying photographs. Al-Mabhouh's face appears on the screen, not a recent photo. This one's from 2003, grainy, taken from a distance. He's older now, grayer, but the eyes are the same, cold, calculating. The intelligence officer speaking doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. Everyone in this room knows who they're looking at. Mahmoud Al-Mabhouh is a senior commander in Hamas. He's not the face you see on television. He's the machinery behind it. The man who arranges weapons shipments from Iran. The one who planned the kidnapping and execution of 2 Israeli soldiers in 1989. Their bodies were found in a shallow grave 3 years later. What makes Al-Mabhouh dangerous isn't just what he's done. It's what he knows. He knows the smuggling routes. He knows the suppliers. He knows which border guards can be bought and which can't. Take him off the board and the entire supply chain fractures. But there's a problem. Al-Mabhouh hasn't set foot in Israel or the occupied territories in over a decade. He moves between Syria, Lebanon, and occasionally Dubai, always surrounded by security, always watching. He's survived 3 assassination attempts already. The first was a car bomb in 2001. It detonated too early. The second was a poisoned meal in Damascus. He didn't eat it. Gave it to his bodyguard. The bodyguard died. Al-Mabhouh learned. After that, he only ate food prepared by family, only drank bottled water he opened himself, only stayed in hotels recommended by people he trusted with his life. The woman leading the briefing in Tel Aviv is Kidon commander. Kidon is Hebrew for bayonet. It's a unit that doesn't officially exist. No public records, no acknowledgement from the Israeli government. The operatives who work for Kidon don't have military ranks on paper. They have legends. False identities so detailed they could pass a polygraph. This commander has been tracking Al-Mabhouh for 18 months. She knows his patterns better than his own wife does. She knows he drinks 7 cups of coffee a day. She knows he's diabetic, but doesn't take his medication consistently. She knows he's having an affair with a woman in Dubai and meets her every 3rd Thursday. Here's what she also knows. Al-Mabhouh is getting sloppy, not in obvious ways, small things. He started using the same travel routes, same hotels, same cafes. Comfort is dangerous in their world. Routine is a death sentence, and Al-Mabhouh has fallen into one. The plan begins to take shape, not in that conference room. Plans like this don't happen in a single meeting. They evolve, layer by layer, detail by detail. The team studies Al-Mabhouh's medical records, stolen from a clinic in Beirut. He has an irregular heartbeat, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. If he died of a heart attack, no one would be surprised. The autopsy would find exactly what they expected to find: a middle-aged man with bad habits and worse genetics. Case closed. But killing someone and making it look natural are 2 different operations. The human body is surprisingly resilient. Even with the right substances, things can go wrong. The target can survive, or worse, they can die in a way that screams murder. Foam at the mouth, convulsions, blood from the ears. That kind of death raises questions. Questions lead to investigations. Investigations lead to international incidents. The goal isn't just to kill Al-Mabhouh. The goal is to make the world think he died all on his own. December arrives. The surveillance intensifies. Not in Dubai yet. In Syria, in Lebanon. Wherever Al-Mabhouh travels, Kidon is already there, not following him, waiting for him. They photograph everyone he meets. They record every phone call they can intercept. They bribe hotel staff to copy room keys. They place microscopic cameras in the lobbies of hotels Al-Mabhouh has never stayed in, but might, just in case. What they're looking for is the perfect window, a moment when Al-Mabhouh will be alone, truly alone. No bodyguards in the hallway, no family in the next room, no one to witness what happens. These moments are rare. Al-Mabhouh has stayed alive this long precisely because he's never alone. But everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has that one vulnerability they don't see coming. The breakthrough comes on December 18th. Al-Mabhouh books a flight to Dubai, one-way ticket, cash payment. He's traveling under a fake passport. This one says his name is Mahmoud Al-Mabhouh. The passport is German, high quality, the kind that costs $15,000 on the black market. What Al-Mabhouh doesn't know is that Mossad knows about this passport. They've known about it for 6 months. They've been waiting for him to use it. The moment that booking is made, the operation shifts into high gear. 26 operatives begin moving toward Dubai. Not together. Never together. They arrive on different flights from different cities. They carry different passports from different countries. British, Irish, French, Australian. Some travel as couples, some alone. They don't know each other. If you sat them all in the same room, most couldn't pick the others out of a lineup. That's by design. Compartmentalization. If one gets caught, they can't expose the rest because they don't know who the rest are. Each operative has a specific role. Some are watchers. They track Al-Mabhouh from the moment he lands. Some are blockers. They make sure no one else is watching. Some are cleaners. They make sure nothing gets left behind. And some are the ones who will get close enough to touch Al-Mabhouh's coffee cup. Those are the ones who've trained for this specific operation for 3 months. January 12th, Al-Mabhouh's flight lands in Dubai at 3 in the afternoon. He's flying economy. Another attempt at staying invisible. He clears customs without issue. His German passport doesn't raise flags. He has a tourist visa. He told customs he's here for business meetings, textile imports. The customs officer stamps his passport and waves him through. What Al-Mabhouh can't see is the woman behind him in line. She's memorized his face from photographs. She watches him collect his luggage, watches him exit the terminal, watches him climb into a taxi. She doesn't follow him, doesn't need to. 3 other teams are already in position. Al-Mabhouh checks into the Al Bustan Rotana Hotel at 4:15. It's a mid-range hotel, not luxury, but not cheap. The kind of place that doesn't attract attention. He's booked room 230 under his fake name. He pays cash for 3 nights. The front desk clerk processes the paperwork, hands him a key card. Al-Mabhouh takes the elevator to the 2nd floor, walks down the hallway, unlocks his door, steps inside, closes it behind him. He thinks he's safe. He's wrong. What he doesn't know is that 2 hours earlier, 4 people entered his room. They didn't break in. They used a master key card. One of the operatives worked at this hotel for 3 weeks under a false identity just to gain access to the security system. Those 4 people searched every inch of room 230. They photographed the layout. They checked the locks. They tested the air conditioning. They placed a microscopic camera in the smoke detector. Then they left. No trace, no evidence. By the time Al-Mabhouh opened that door, they were already in a different hotel 3 miles away, watching everything he did on a laptop screen. Al-Mabhouh unpacks, changes clothes, orders room service, lamb kebabs and rice. He eats alone, checks his phone constantly. He's waiting for a message. It comes at 6:30, a text from a number he doesn't recognize. The message is coded. Simple replacement cipher. It tells him his meeting is confirmed for tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, a different hotel. Al-Mabhouh deletes the message immediately. Old habit. Doesn't it matter? Mossad intercepted it 30 seconds after it was sent. They already know about tomorrow's meeting. They've known for 2 days. Here's the question. Before we continue, drop your answer in the comments. When pursuing a target like this, is this level of surveillance justified precision? Or does it cross ethical lines that intelligence agencies shouldn't cross regardless of the threat? That evening, Al-Mabhouh leaves his room. 7:40 p.m. He takes a walk. Strange behavior for someone trying to stay invisible. But Al-Mabhouh isn't stupid. He's checking for surveillance. He takes random turns, doubles back, stops suddenly to see if anyone behind him stops too. It's a good technique. It would work against most people. But the team following him has done this hundreds of times. They never get close. They use a leapfrog pattern. One operative stays ahead, one behind, one on the opposite side of the street. If Al-Mabhouh turns, the person ahead becomes the person behind. He never sees the same face twice. Al-Mabhouh walks for 40 minutes. Satisfied that he's alone, he enters a small cafe. The same cafe from the beginning of our story. He sits at a table near the window, orders black coffee, takes out his phone, makes a call. The conversation is brief, 2 minutes. He speaks in Arabic, talks about shipments and schedules. Nothing specific, nothing that would sound suspicious to a casual listener. But Mossad records every word. They'll analyze it later, cross-reference the timing with other intelligence, build a fuller picture of what Al-Mabhouh is planning. He finishes his coffee, pays, leaves, walks back to the hotel, returns to his room at 9:15, locks the door, puts the chain on, checks the windows. Everything looks normal. He doesn't notice the camera and the smoke detector, doesn't notice that the lock mechanism on his door has been subtly altered. The modification is invisible. You'd need a microscope to see it, but that small change means anyone with the right electronic key can enter his room without the main lock clicking. No sound, no warning. Al-Mabhouh turns on the television, news channel, international coverage. He watches for 20 minutes, then turns it off. Gets ready for bed, sets his phone alarm for 7 a.m. He wants to be awake early tomorrow, wants time to prepare for his meeting. He takes his shoes off, his jacket, lies down fully clothed, another old habit. If something happens, he can move fast. He falls asleep by 10. What he doesn't know is that in a van parked 2 blocks away, 6 people are watching him sleep through the hidden camera. They're not waiting for him to wake up. They're waiting for something else. They're waiting for his breathing pattern to stabilize, waiting for him to enter deep sleep. REM cycle, the stage where people are hardest to wake, where the body is most relaxed, most vulnerable. At 11:43 p.m., the breathing pattern changes. Al-Mabhouh has entered REM sleep. The signal is given. 2 operatives enter the hotel through the service entrance. They're dressed as maintenance workers, blue jumpsuits, ID badges that look legitimate because they are legitimate. Stolen from actual hotel employees, they take the service elevator to the 2nd floor, walk down the hallway, stop at room 130. One of them produces the electronic key, holds it to the lock. The light blinks green. The modified mechanism opens without a sound. They step inside. The room is dark except for the glow from the window, city lights filtering through thin curtains. Al-Mabhouh is on the bed, on his back, snoring softly. The 2 operatives move like shadows, practiced, silent. One stays by the door, watching the hallway through the peephole. The other approaches the bed, takes something from his pocket. A small syringe, pre-measured dose. The substance inside has no name you'd find in medical journals. It's a compound developed specifically for operations like this. It mimics the biochemical cascade of a massive heart attack, the kind that kills in minutes. But here's the problem. You can't just inject someone and walk away. Even in deep sleep, a needle prick can wake people. They might not remember it later, but in that moment, they react. They move. They shout. They fight. And if Al-Mabhouh fights, if he gets even 5 seconds to reach his phone, the entire operation collapses. So the operatives don't use the syringe, not yet. They have a different method, something slower, something that will activate tomorrow, after they're all long gone. The operative by the bed doesn't inject Al-Mabhouh. Instead, he reaches for the phone on the nightstand. Al-Mabhouh's personal phone, the one he checks constantly. The operative doesn't touch it directly, uses a cloth, carefully lifts it, examines the screen. There's no passcode lock. Another small mistake, another crack in Al-Mabhouh's armor. The operative takes a device from his pocket, smaller than a credit card. He connects it to the phone's charging port. 30 seconds. The device copies everything: contacts, messages, call history, photos, location data from the past 6 months, every place Al-Mabhouh has been, every person he's contacted. The intelligence value is enormous, but that's not why they're here tonight. The operative disconnects the device, returns the phone to its exact position. Then he does something strange. He opens Al-Mabhouh's suitcase, carefully, slowly. The hinges don't creak. Inside, clothing is neatly folded. The operative ignores most of it. He's looking for something specific. He finds it in the inner pocket, a small leather case. Inside that case is a straight razor, old-fashioned. The kind Al-Mabhouh uses for shaving, the kind he's used for 20 years. The operative takes the razor, holds it up to the dim light from the window, examines the blade. Then he takes out a different small device. This one looks like a felt tip marker. He uncaps it, runs it along the razor's edge. 1 stroke. The substance that transfers is invisible, odorless, completely undetectable without specialized equipment. The razor goes back in the leather case. The case goes back in the suitcase. Everything returned to its exact position. The two operatives move toward the door. The one who stayed watching signals. Hallway clear, they slip out. The modified lock closes behind them with the same silent mechanism. Total time inside the room, 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Al-Mabhouh never stirred, never opened his eyes, never knew two people stood 3 feet from his bed while he dreamed. They take the service elevator down, exit through the same entrance. The van that brought them is gone. They walk in opposite directions. One heads toward the metro station. The other catches a taxi. They'll never see each other again after tonight. By tomorrow, both will be on flights to different continents using different identities. What they left behind is elegant in its simplicity. The substance on the razor blade is a penetration-enhanced toxin. It doesn't activate immediately. It needs to enter the bloodstream. When Al-Mabhouh shaves tomorrow morning, microscopic amounts will transfer through tiny cuts in his skin. Cuts so small he won't feel them, won't see them. The compound will enter his system slowly, build up gradually. But it won't kill him, not directly. What it does is prime the body, makes the cardiovascular system hypersensitive, turns a normally harmless stimulus into a lethal trigger. The trigger is caffeine, specifically the 7th dose of caffeine consumed after the compound enters the bloodstream. The designers of this operation know Al-Mabhouh drinks exactly 7 cups of coffee throughout his day. Morning routine, 2 cups, 1 with breakfast, 1 after. Mid-morning, 1 cup. Lunch, 1 cup. Afternoon, 2 cups. Evening, 1 cup, 7 total, every single day. The pattern never varies. They've watched him for 18 months. 7 cups, like clockwork. The compound on the razor creates a cumulative effect. First cup, minor elevation in heart rate. Second cup, slightly increased blood pressure. Third through 6th cups, progressive stress on the cardiovascular system. Nothing dramatic, nothing Al-Mabhouh would notice. He'll feel normal, maybe a little jittery, but he's always jittery after coffee. That's normal for him. The 7th cup is different. The 7th cup triggers a cascade. Massive vasoconstriction, irregular heartbeat, coronary thrombosis. To any medical examiner, it will look exactly like a natural heart attack in a man with pre-existing conditions. The toxin itself will metabolize within hours, leave no trace, perfect deniability. But plans this precise live or die on timing. If Al-Mabhouh doesn't shave tomorrow, the operation fails. If he only drinks 6 cups instead of 7, he might survive. If he seeks medical attention after the 6th cup, doctors might figure out something's wrong. Every variable matters. Every assumption must be correct. And the team controlling this operation from 3 different locations across Dubai can do nothing but watch and wait. January 13th, 6:45 a.m. Al-Mabhouh's alarm sounds. He wakes instantly. Old military training. He silences the phone, sits up. His back aches. The mattress is too soft. He stands, stretches, walks to the bathroom, turns on the light, looks at himself in the mirror. He needs a shave. The stubble is getting thick. He opens his suitcase, takes out the leather case, removes the razor, runs hot water in the sink. What he can't see is that in a hotel room 4 blocks away, 2 people are watching this exact moment through the hidden camera, watching him pick up the razor, watching him test the blade's sharpness with his thumb. Neither of them speaks, they just watch. Al-Mabhouh lathers his face with soap, begins shaving, slow, careful strokes. He learned to shave like this from his father. Same razor style, same technique. The blade glides across his skin, smooth, clean. He rinses the razor between strokes. The water runs clear, no blood, no indication that anything's wrong. But, with each stroke, microscopic amounts of the compound transfer from blade to skin. Through the tiny abrasions that exist on every human face, invisible highways into the bloodstream. He finishes shaving, rinses his face, pats it dry with a towel, examines his reflection. Satisfied, he gets dressed. White shirt, dark pants, no tie. He's meeting a contact this morning who values discretion. Looking too formal attracts attention. He checks his phone. No new messages. Good. He orders room service. Breakfast. Eggs, bread, coffee. The order arrives 20 minutes later. The room service attendant is a man in his 30s. Friendly smile. He sets the tray on the table. Al-Mabhouh tips him 5 dirhams. The attendant thanks him, leaves. Al-Mabhouh locks the door behind him, sits down to eat. First cup of coffee, he drinks it black, hot, strong. The bitterness is familiar, comforting. He eats the eggs, the bread, drinks a second cup while reading news on his phone. 8:30 a.m. His meeting is in 90 minutes. He needs to leave soon, get there early, survey the location, make sure it's safe. What he doesn't know is that the meeting location was compromised 3 days ago. Mossad knows exactly where he's going. They've already been inside that building, already mapped every entrance and exit, already identified which cafe he'll choose for the third cup. Al-Mabhouh leaves his hotel room at 8:50, takes the elevator to the lobby. The hotel is busy this morning, tourists checking out, business travelers arriving. He blends into the crowd, exits through the main entrance. The morning sun is already fierce. Dubai in January is mild compared to summer, but still warm. He walks 3 blocks, flags a taxi, gives the driver an address. The taxi merges into traffic. What Al-Mabhouh can't see is the motorcycle following 2 cars behind. The rider wears a full helmet, reflective visor. Could be anyone. The motorcycle stays back, never gets too close. When the taxi turns, the motorcycle turns. When the taxi stops at a light, the motorcycle stops 3 vehicles back. Professional distance, professional technique. The taxi arrives at a commercial district, modern buildings, glass and steel. Al-Mabhouh pays the driver, gets out, stands on the sidewalk looking around. He's early, 40 minutes before the meeting. He spots a cafe across the street. Perfect. He can sit, have coffee, watch the entrance to the building where he's meeting his contact. He crosses the street, enters the cafe. The cafe is half full. Morning crowd, laptops open, quiet conversations. Al-Mabhouh chooses a table by the window. Clear view of the street, clear view of the building entrance. A waitress approaches, young, Filipino. She smiles, asks what he'd like. He orders black coffee. She writes it down, walks away. What he doesn't notice is the man sitting 4 tables to his left. Newspaper open, reading, not reading, watching. The man arrived at this cafe 30 minutes ago. Has been waiting, knew Al-Mabhouh would come here. The team scouted 5 cafes in this area. This one had the best sightlines, best window placement. They knew Al-Mabhouh would choose it. Third cup of coffee arrives. Al-Mabhouh drinks it slowly, checks his watch. 9:30. The meeting is at 10. He pays for the coffee, leaves, crosses back across the street, enters the building, modern lobby, marble floors. The directory lists dozens of companies, import-export firms, trading companies, consulting agencies. Most are legitimate, some are fronts. Al-Mabhouh takes the elevator to the 8th floor, walks down a quiet corridor, finds room 804, knocks twice. The door opens, a man stands there, 50s, beard, expensive suit. He doesn't smile, doesn't shake hands. Gestures for Al-Mabhouh to enter. The room is an office. Desk, chairs, computer, nothing personal, no photos, no decoration. The kind of space that gets rented by the month and abandoned when necessary. Al-Mabhouh sits. The other man closes the door, sits behind the desk. They talk for 40 minutes. The conversation is in Arabic, hushed tones. They discuss shipping containers, port schedules, customs officials, payment methods. Al-Mabhouh takes notes on his phone. The other man slides a folder across the desk. Documents inside, manifests, routes. Al-Mabhouh photographs each page, deletes the photos after sending them to an encrypted server. The meeting ends at 10:40. No handshake. Al-Mabhouh leaves first, takes the elevator down, exits the building. The morning has gotten hotter. He walks 6 blocks. His shirt sticks to his back. He finds another cafe, needs to cool down, needs another coffee. 4th cup. He sits at the counter this time, drinks quickly. The caffeine is starting to make him jittery. He notices, dismisses it. Too much coffee always does this. His hands shake slightly. Normal. He's had worse. What he doesn't know is that the compound from the razor is now fully active in his bloodstream. Each cup of coffee is incrementally stressing his cardiovascular system. Nothing dramatic yet, nothing obvious. But the pressure is building. Like a dam with microscopic cracks. Each cup widens those cracks just a little more. Al-Mabhouh leaves the cafe. He has another meeting. This one unofficial, personal. The woman he's been seeing. She works at a hotel, housekeeping manager. They meet in her office during her lunch break. He takes a taxi to that hotel, arrives at noon, enters through the service entrance, takes the staff elevator to the basement. Her office is small, cramped, she's waiting. They talk about nothing important, about leaving Dubai, starting somewhere new, places where they wouldn't have to hide. It's a fantasy they both know won't happen, but it feels good to pretend. After 30 minutes, he leaves the same way he came. 1 p.m., lunchtime. Al-Mabhouh is hungry. He finds a restaurant, small place, local food. He orders grilled fish and rice, and coffee. 5th cup. The waiter brings everything at once. Al-Mabhouh eats alone. His hands are shaking more now. His heart rate is elevated. He feels it. The flutter in his chest, the slight pressure. He's felt this before. Stress, anxiety, the life he lives, always looking over his shoulder, always waiting for something bad to happen. He drinks the coffee anyway. Caffeine helps him focus, helps him stay sharp. But something's wrong. He can feel it now. A tightness in his chest? Not pain exactly. Just pressure, like someone's pressing down. He stops eating, takes a deep breath. The feeling passes, mostly. He chalks it up to the heat, the stress of the morning meetings, the lack of sleep. He finishes his meal, pays, leaves, 2 p.m. Al-Mabhouh returns to his hotel room. He's exhausted. The day has drained him. He lies down on the bed, doesn't sleep, just rests, closes his eyes, his phone buzzes, a message, another meeting tonight. 8 p.m., different location. He confirms, puts the phone down. His chest still feels tight. He should drink water, probably dehydrated, but he doesn't get up, just lies there. Behind him, hidden in plain sight, the camera in the smoke detector records everything. The team watching sees him lying down, sees him rubbing his chest. They make notes, document the progression. Everything is going according to plan. 4 p.m. Al-Mabhouh forces himself to get up. He has work to do, emails to send, contacts to update. He sits at the small desk in his room, opens his laptop, starts typing. After 20 minutes, he needs coffee. Room service again, 6th cup. It arrives in 10 minutes. He drinks it while working. The caffeine should help. Should sharpen his focus, but it doesn't. His concentration is slipping. The words on the screen blur slightly. He blinks, refocuses, keeps working. His heart is racing now, pounding in his chest, irregular rhythm. He notices, tries to slow his breathing, calm down. It's just caffeine, just stress. Nothing serious. What he can't know is that his coronary arteries are constricting. Blood flow to his heart is decreasing. The compound has primed his system perfectly. One more cup, one more dose of caffeine. That's all it will take. The 7th cup will be the trigger. The mechanism is already in place. The countdown has already begun. 6 p.m. Al-Mabhouh feels slightly better. The tightness in his chest has eased. He stands, stretches, looks out the window at the city. Dubai at dusk. Lights starting to come on. Traffic thick on the highways. He has 2 hours before his evening meeting. Enough time to shower, change clothes, get something to eat. He strips off his shirt, steps into the bathroom, turns on the shower, hot water. Steam fills the small space. He stands under the spray for 15 minutes, letting the heat work into his muscles, letting the stress wash away. He gets out, dries off, gets dressed, clean shirt, same pants. He checks his appearance in the mirror, looks tired, dark circles under his eyes. He's been pushing too hard, needs to slow down. After this trip, maybe he'll take a few days. Rest, spend time with family. It's been months since he's seen his wife, his children. The life he lives keeps him away from them, keeps him moving, always moving. He tells himself it's worth it, that he's fighting for something bigger than himself. Some days he believes it. Today, he's not so sure. 7 p.m. Al-Mabhouh leaves his room again, takes the elevator to the hotel restaurant. He could order room service, but he's been in that room all afternoon. Needs a change of scenery, needs to be around people, even if he can't talk to them, even if he's sitting alone. The restaurant is moderately busy. He's seated at a small table near the back, away from the windows. Old habit, never sit where you can be seen from outside. He orders dinner, chicken, salad, and coffee. The waiter asks if he's sure about the coffee. It's late, might keep him awake. Al-Mabhouh waves off the concern. He has a meeting at 8, needs to stay alert. The waiter nods, walks away. Returns 5 minutes later with a pot of coffee, pours a cup, sets the pot on the table. Al-Mabhouh thanks him. 7th cup. He brings it to his lips, pauses. Something makes him hesitate. Instinct, maybe. The same instinct that's kept him alive all these years. The same instinct that told him not to eat the poison meal in Damascus. That told him not to get in that car in Gaza. He looks at the coffee. Dark, steaming, smells normal, looks normal. He's being paranoid. It's hotel coffee, from a reputable restaurant. Nothing wrong with it. He drinks. The coffee is hot, bitter, exactly like the 6 cups before it. He sets the cup down, picks up his fork, starts eating the salad. Within 30 seconds, something changes. The tightness in his chest returns, worse this time, much worse, like a band cinching around his ribcage. He puts the fork down, breathes, slow breaths, in and out. The pressure doesn't ease, it intensifies. His left arm starts to tingle, pins and needles. He knows what this is, he's read about it, heart attack symptoms. But he's only 49, he's active. He's survived worse than chest pain. This is stress, has to be stress. He reaches for his water glass, drinks. The cold water doesn't help. His vision starts to narrow at the edges. Tunnel vision. His heart is hammering now, irregular, skipping beats. He tries to stand, his legs won't cooperate. The waiter notices, approaches, asks if everything's okay. Al-Mabhouh tries to answer, can't form the words. His mouth won't work properly. The waiter calls for help. Another staff member runs over. Someone calls for an ambulance. Al-Mabhouh slumps forward. His forehead hits the table, hard. He's still conscious, still aware, but his body isn't responding. His chest feels like it's being crushed, like an elephant sitting on his sternum. He can't breathe, can't speak, can't move. Everything is happening so fast, too fast. What he doesn't know is that 4 blocks away, the team monitoring the hidden camera saw the entire sequence, saw him drink the 7th cup, saw the reaction begin, saw him collapse. They're already packing up their equipment, already preparing to leave Dubai. Their job is done. The rest will happen naturally, inevitably. The poison has done its work. The ambulance arrives in 8 minutes. Paramedics rush into the hotel restaurant. Al-Mabhouh is on the floor now. Someone moved him there, laid him flat. One of the paramedics checks his pulse. Weak, irregular. They attach monitoring equipment. The screen shows exactly what they expect to see. Ventricular fibrillation. The heart's electrical system has gone haywire. Chambers contracting randomly instead of in rhythm. No effective blood flow, no oxygen reaching the brain. The paramedic charges the defibrillator, calls clear, shocks Al-Mabhouh's chest. His body convulses. The monitor flatlines for 2 seconds. Then a rhythm appears, weak but present. They load him onto a stretcher, move fast. Every second matters with cardiac arrest. The ambulance races toward Rashid Hospital, sirens blaring, lights flashing. Inside, the paramedics work. IV line established, medications pushed. oxygen mask secured. Al-Mabhouh's eyes are open, but unfocused. He's aware, but not present. The pain in his chest has become everything, his entire universe. He wants to tell them something, wants to say he was poisoned, wants to say this isn't natural, but the words won't come. His brain knows, his mouth doesn't cooperate. 7:43 p.m. The ambulance arrives at the emergency department, trauma team waiting. They've been alerted, male patient, 49 years old, cardiac arrest. They wheel him directly into a resuscitation bay. The team surrounds him, organized chaos. Everyone has a role. One doctor manages the airway. Another establishes additional IV access. Nurses draw blood. Someone calls for a portable X-ray. The lead physician examines Al-Mabhouh quickly, listens to his heart, irregular, faint, listens to his lungs, clear, no signs of pulmonary embolism, no obvious trauma. All signs point to acute myocardial infarction, heart attack. Exactly what they're supposed to see. They administer more medications, anticoagulants, vasodilators, beta blockers, everything in the cardiac arrest protocol. Al-Mabhouh's condition stabilizes slightly. His heart finds a more regular rhythm, still weak, still struggling, but present. The doctors make a decision. He needs the cardiac catheterization lab, need to look at his coronary arteries directly, see if there's a blockage they can open. Buy him time. What none of them know is that there's no blockage to find, no clot lodged in an artery, no physical obstruction. The compound that entered Al-Mabhouh's bloodstream this morning has created a chemical cascade. His arteries have constricted on their own, spasming, squeezing shut. But this spasm will resolve. In a few hours, his arteries will relax, will open again. By then, it won't matter. By then, the damage will be done. And by then, the compound itself will have metabolized, broken down into molecules that look like natural byproducts of a heart attack, indistinguishable from what the body produces during cardiac stress. 8:15 p.m. They move Al-Mabhouh to the catheterization lab. The cardiologist on call is experienced, has done thousands of these procedures. She reviews the preliminary findings. EKG shows ST elevation, classic heart attack pattern. She expects to find a blocked artery, expects to insert a stent, save this man's life. She begins the procedure, threads a catheter through the femoral artery in Al-Mabhouh's groin, guides it up toward his heart, injects contrast dye, watches on the fluoroscopy screen. The arteries appear. She studies them carefully. Left main coronary, left anterior descending, circumflex, right coronary, all visible, all patent. No blockages, no stenosis, no obvious explanation for why this man arrested. She injects the more contrast, checks again. Same result. The arteries look clear. This doesn't make sense. She's seen cases like this before. Rare, but not unheard of. Sometimes the arteries spasm. Sometimes the electrical system fails for no apparent reason. Young men with no risk factors dropping dead. Old men with terrible risk factors living to 90. The heart is unpredictable. But Al-Mabhouh has risk factors. The medical history they pulled shows diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, family history of cardiac disease. He fits the profile perfectly. Sometimes the first symptom of heart disease is death. No warning, no previous heart attacks. Just sudden catastrophic failure. That's the conclusion she reaches. She withdraws the catheter, closes the access site, orders continued intensive monitoring. There's nothing more she can do surgically. 9:30 p.m. Al-Mabhouh is moved to the cardiac intensive care unit. He's sedated now, intubated, a machine breathing for him. His heart rhythm has stabilized further, still weak but consistent. The ICU team takes over. They run more tests, more blood work. Cardiac enzymes are elevated, troponin levels through the roof, all consistent with massive heart attack. Nothing suspicious, nothing that would make anyone question the diagnosis. What they don't see is that across the city, the last Kidon operative is checking out of his hotel. He'll catch a flight at midnight. Destination, Frankfurt. From there, he'll connect to Tel Aviv. By tomorrow afternoon, he'll be sitting in a debriefing room answering questions about the operation. Did everything go according to plan? Any complications? Any witnesses who saw too much? Any loose ends that need addressing? The answers will all be no. Clean operation, perfect execution. The kind that doesn't make headlines because no one knows it happened. January 14th, 2:15 a.m. A nurse checks Al-Mabhouh's vitals. Blood pressure dropping. Heart rate becoming irregular again. She calls for the attending physician. The doctor arrives, examines Al-Mabhouh. The situation is deteriorating, despite all the interventions, despite the medications. His heart is giving up. They try more drugs, more interventions. Nothing works. At 3:07 a.m., Al-Mabhouh's heart stops. They attempt resuscitation, chest compressions, more defibrillation, advanced cardiac life support protocol, 30 minutes of effort, no response. At 3:37 a.m., the attending physician calls time of death. Mahmoud Al-Mabhouh is dead. Officially, he died of acute myocardial infarction, heart attack. Natural causes in a man with multiple cardiac risk factors. The death certificate will reflect this. The autopsy that follows will confirm it. No one suspects murder. Why would they? A middle-aged man with diabetes and high blood pressure had a heart attack. It happens every day, thousands of times, all over the world. Nothing unusual, nothing suspicious. But this death is different. This death was orchestrated, planned down to the minute, every variable controlled, every outcome predicted. And the people who planned it are already gone, already safe, already preparing for the next operation. Because this is what Kidon does. This is what they've always done. Invisible warfare, untraceable kills, leaving bodies but no evidence, leaving questions but no answers. The Dubai police open an investigation anyway. Standard procedure for foreign nationals who die in their jurisdiction. They review the hotel security footage. They see Al-Mabhouh checking in, see him leaving for meetings, see him returning, see him going to the restaurant, see him collapsing. Everything looks normal. They interview the hotel staff. Did anyone suspicious visit his room? Any unusual activity? The answers are all negative. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just a guest who had a heart attack. What the police don't see is that every person they interview has already been cleared. The Kidon operatives who entered Al-Mabhouh's room were never captured on the main hotel cameras. They used service corridors, wore uniforms that made them invisible, moved during shift changes when security was distracted. The operation was designed to leave no trace, and it succeeded. But then something unexpected happens. Hamas demands a full investigation. They don't believe Al-Mabhouh died naturally. He was too important, too careful. They pressure the Dubai authorities. The police expand their investigation. They pull more security footage, not just from the hotel, from surrounding streets, from the airport, from every camera in a 5-block radius. And they start to see patterns, the same faces appearing in multiple locations. People who seem to be following Al-Mabhouh, people who don't quite fit. The investigation takes weeks, months. The Dubai police work with Interpol. They identify 11 suspects using facial recognition, all traveling on false passports: British, Irish, French, Australian, German. The passports are real documents, not forgeries. But the identities are stolen, real people whose details were copied and used. The suspects' photos don't match the real passport holders. This is sophisticated identity theft. Government-level sophistication. The trail leads back to Israel, not directly, not obviously. But the pattern is clear to intelligence analysts. The operational security, the coordination, the use of multiple nationalities, the clean execution. It has Mossad fingerprints all over it. Dubai goes public with their findings, releases the security footage, shows the world the suspected operatives. The images spread globally. News networks analyze every frame. Intelligence agencies study the techniques. It becomes a case study in modern assassination. But here's what never gets revealed: how Al-Mabhouh actually died. The autopsy found nothing suspicious. The toxicology screen found nothing unusual. The elevated cardiac enzymes, the tissue damage, all consistent with natural heart attack. The compound used has metabolized completely, left no trace. Even if investigators suspected poison, they wouldn't find it. The chemistry is too sophisticated, too advanced, developed specifically to be undetectable. Israel never officially confirms or denies involvement. That's standard policy. They don't comment on intelligence operations, don't acknowledge, don't apologize. The suspected operatives are never caught, never identified by their real names. They've disappeared into whatever shadows they came from. New identities, new lives, ready for the next operation whenever it comes. The question that lingers is this: was it worth it? Al-Mabhouh was one man. Dangerous, yes. Responsible for deaths, yes. But one man. The operation exposed Kidon's methods, showed the world their techniques, revealed their operational patterns. Every intelligence agency now knows to look for these exact signatures: the stolen passports, the multiple nationalities, the surveillance teams. Future operations will be harder, riskier, because Dubai exposed the playbook. But from Israel's perspective, the answer is yes, absolutely worth it. Al-Mabhouh's death disrupted weapons shipments for months, created chaos in Hamas's military wing, sent a message that no one is safe, no matter how careful, no matter where you hide. If you're on the list, you're already dead. You just don't know it yet. That psychological impact is worth more than any tactical advantage they gave up. And the method itself sends a specific message. This wasn't a car bomb, wasn't a missile strike, wasn't a gunfight in the street. This was intimate, personal. Someone got close enough to touch your razor. Someone watched you drink your coffee. Someone waited patiently for the exact right moment. That's terrifying in a way that explosions aren't, because explosions can be random, can be lucky strikes. But poisoning someone's morning routine, that requires knowledge, requires patience, requires being invisible while standing 3 feet away. The operation also demonstrated something important to other intelligence agencies. Chemical sophistication has reached a new level. The days of crude poisons are over. The days of obvious assassinations are over. Now you can kill someone and make it look so natural that even after months of investigation, no one can prove anything. The body tells a story. But that story is a lie, and the lie is perfect. What's the broader implication? Intelligence warfare has entered a new phase, not the dramatic phase of spy movies, not car chases and shootouts, but something quieter, more insidious, where death looks like bad luck, where murder looks like natural causes, where the victim's own daily routine becomes the weapon. This is the future of covert operations. Invisible, untraceable, perfectly deniable. Al-Mabhouh's 7th cup of coffee killed him, but he drank 6 cups before that. 6 opportunities to survive if he'd made different choices, if he'd ordered tea instead, if he'd switched hotels, if he'd stayed home. That's the genius of the operation. It relied on Al-Mabhouh being exactly who he was, doing exactly what he always did. His habits killed him as much as the poison. His routine was the trap, and he walked into it willingly, unknowingly, 7 times that day. The operation cost millions of dollars, involved dozens of operatives, took 18 months of planning, all to kill one man. Some people look at those numbers and say it's excessive, inefficient, but that's missing the point. The point isn't just the death. The point is the precision, the message, the demonstration of capability. We can reach anyone, anywhere, at any time, and you'll never see us coming. That capability is worth any price. 3 years after Al-Mabhouh's death, another Hamas commander died under similar circumstances. Heart attack, no obvious cause, natural death in a man with risk factors, no investigation, no headlines, just another statistic. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe the same operational template, the same sophisticated methods, the same invisible warfare. We'll never know. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. This is the new reality of intelligence operations. Not the visible displays of power, not the public spectacles, but quiet deaths that leave no questions. Methods so refined that suspicion itself seems paranoid. Techniques so advanced that proof becomes impossible. Al-Mabhouh's 7th cup of coffee wasn't just his last drink. It was a preview of how modern warfare disappears into the shadows, how death wears the mask of natural causes, how the most sophisticated weapons leave no evidence they ever existed. So, here's the final question. Drop your answer in the comments. In a world where invisible methods can reach anyone anywhere, Where does targeted elimination cross the line from precision intelligence work into something darker? What keeps these tools from being misused when their very nature prevents oversight? If this exposed how invisible machinery operates in the shadows of international conflict, subscribe. Because this operation isn't unique, it's template, and that template is being used right now, somewhere, on someone, who will never know what's coming until it's too late. The next target is already drinking their coffee, already following their routine, already walking into a trap designed 18 months ago by people they'll never see. That's the world we live in now. That's the reality of modern intelligence warfare. Invisible, untraceable, perfect.